what area in sort of overall wellness do you think stem cell really does tackle?
I love, number one, your results. Yeah. When you look at that and think about the question you're asking, like what role? Our bodies are the role. Our bodies are magical when we have the resources. So to heal and to resolve those issues that we're not being able to resolve on our own, that's where the stem cells play the role. They're giving back our body the power, the boost, what it needs, the resource to get back in the game.
An entrepreneur straight out of New York City, Michael Chernow. What's cracking?
Ha! What up, stem cells? We're talking stem cells today. Not the stem cells that there's not a lot of great science behind, but the stem cells that actually heal the body. In February of this year, I went down to Mexico for vacation with my family, and I was introduced to John Merola and Vivek Brahmbhatt, Vivek Brahmbhatt, through a friend randomly. And they have a clinic in Mexico called RejuvStem's. And I thought, hey, like, how crazy would it be for me to be able to go down to Mexico with vacation on vacation with my family, but also be able to get some stem cells? I made it happen, and I'm here to tell you that, well, we'll tell the story, but it was really, really crazy. So before I walked into the clinic to get stem cells, my body was just kind of like littered with inflammation. And I have inflammation in my body not only because I have chronic Lyme disease, but I just live a stressful lifestyle. That's just the facts. I'm an entrepreneur, busy, I'm a dad, I'm a husband, I train really hard. So my body is just, unfortunately, inflamed. And a lot of people that walk around the planet, specifically here in New York, have inflammation issues. And so one key sort of signal for me that my body is struggling is being able to take my wedding band on and off my finger. If I can't take my wedding band on and off my finger, I know that there is inflammation bad in my body, and I'm having either a Lyme flare, or I'm just stressed out, or my cortisol levels are through the roof. Anyway, walk in there, my wedding band was like plastered to my finger before walking into the clinic. And I met with Vivek, and we did, I don't remember how many stem cells, but we did thousands of stem cells in IV.
Millions.
Was it millions?
It was millions.
Millions.
100 million.
100 million stem cells. And it was wart and jelly stem cells, right?
Correct.
And so these are like the real deal stem cells, like the liquid gold stem cells that really help heal the body. There's an enormous amount of science that supports this. Anyway, so we do the treatment, and with this podcast, I'm going to also put out a post on social media that documents the whole entire experience for me. As soon as I was done and we got into the car to take me back to my hotel, I looked at Vivek and I was floored, because similar to right now how my wedding band is coming on and off my finger, it was coming on and off my finger for the first time in months and months. I'm here to tell you that my wedding band has been coming off my finger ever since I left that clinic. And it's a shame that we don't have this here in the United States, that we can't apply this treatment in the United States yet. But I really can't wait to dive into stem cells with you guys and John and Vivek to talk about the power and almost like the magic that this therapy has for healing the body. And you don't necessarily have to have an injury to get stem cells. You don't necessarily have to have like deep inflammation to get stem cells like I do. This is just like a head to toe, full body rejuvenation probably why RejuvStem is called RejuvStem. But it's an incredible therapy that I really am excited to share with you guys. So, John, Vivek, welcome.
Thank you so much. Brother. Thank you so much. And remind me once again, what it was 3 months ago?
It was 3 months ago. It was just under 3 months ago
February.
That I went.
Yep.
And I'm here to say that, like, you know, inflammation is my arch nemesis.
Sure.
It just is, right?
Yeah.
Like, if in order, and it's not only physically, but like there's a mental component to it as well, right? Like, when my body is inflamed, you know, when I know like a Lyme flare up is coming, I feel it in my hands immediately.
Mm-hmm.
My hands immediately feel it.
Yeah.
I get brain fog. I feel it in my hands. My feet get swollen. My joints get swollen.
You feel it,
Yep.
You feel
And
it.
it's just like a full body, like, it's just discomfort.
Yeah.
Right
It's
on.
just discomfort.
You don't want to get out of bed.
Basically, you know, and I was experiencing that
Yeah.
in Mexico before I walked into your guys' clinic.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm not the only one who has had super success with this, right?
Correct.
And I know that you all have treated professional athletes, high power CEOs, and just like regular people that just want to get
healthy.
well,
Yeah.
right?
Totally.
So why don't you guys kind of just walk us through, like, how the hell did this thing start?
Well, that's me.
Yeah, well, let's rewind to COVID, the height of COVID. A good friend of ours contracts, goes into ICU, comes out, thankfully, but with less than, 20-30% lung capacity. And at the time, this year, Chirag Shah is not only the CEO of RejuvStem, but my best friend, and we're celebrating our 40th year this coming December.
Nice work.
Yeah, a friendship. So he at the time was also looking in pretty heavily to support some of his orthopedic issues and into stem cells. And we look for solutions for our friend. Now, our friend is a medical doctor at the height of his profession, an entrepreneur, and his life literally was decimated to whether he could make it through the day walking from his living room to his kitchen, right? And so this turns out where Chirag initially went and looked up what we now have as our clinic, as our laboratory in Guadalajara, Mexico. And Chuck, our buddy, goes down for 3 treatments. Each treatment was 30 days apart. The 90th day, the x-rays that you see pre-treatment and post were night and day. And he is back 5 years later to living a life of full functionality. And that moment is when, we got together and we said, this has to be available to more people. And why can't we make it at the level and the standard that we're used to having in terms of treatment, in terms of clinics, in terms of quality? And that was the birth of RejuvStem. And we took a lot of time, energy, and effort to, and money, to invest our lives for the last 3.5, 4 years now, to be able to offer a opportunity for our bodies to have the boost that's necessary with these resources. And these are mesenchymal stem cells that we create, cultivate through the umbilical cord and placenta. And, you fast forward years later, hearing stories like yourself, John, initially a patient, turned amazing partner, is a true testament that every step we're taking it started from the one passion that this is a miracle what our body does with our own stem cells. But when we run out or we don't have enough to hit the challenges, I totally appreciate what you said about your flare-ups. I'm a autoimmune psoriasis survivor. And when those flare-ups hit, It's not just a physical experience. It affects all of our
and the people around us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it drains you.
I know, John, you came in with an amazing situation, both physically as a...
Yeah, because one of my best friends, Big E's from WWE, he went for treatment with them, and he's like, John, I tore my tricep. So he's like, John, go for treatment. But I had herniated discs throughout my whole back and my bulging discs in my neck. So I really needed back surgery. It was bad. I had to do that Batman shift because I couldn't move my body.
Yep.
So when I went for my treatment...
That was a good Batman shift.
Yeah, it was. That's how it was. I know. So when I went for my treatment, I said, I want to do my back and my neck. And literally the next day in the hotel room, I was sitting on the balcony and I was overlooking the ocean, and she called my name and I went like this. I turned to her and she comes out, she's like, babe, you just moved your neck. It's like, oh my God, I did. It was a day. It was 24 hours. I just felt amazing. And literally meeting him and being with him, it was just such a breath of fresh air. The clinic, him, the doctors, it was just everything kind of flowed together. And then when I was leaving, I'm like, I don't want to part ways with him. I don't want to part ways with the company. So I called him in Chirag a couple weeks later. I'm like, I would love to be a part of this. I would like to be a part owner with you guys. So I want to help people. Because for me, it was passionate. Like I'm like you're an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur. I do other things as well. But this is a passion for me. I'm like, if I could feel this way, why can't anybody else feel this way? We can get out there and tell people and help other people and feel better. Feel better in your own skin. That there's people out, like we had someone come from Core Medical. He needed neck fusion surgery. His disc flipped. Within 24 hours, he was sleeping fine. He used to have to sleep with a horse blanket so he could position himself upright because he couldn't sleep. He was in that much pain. And then, boom, within a week, he's like, John, I can't believe this. It's incredible what the mesenchymal stem cells could do.
So I think what would be helpful for the audience listening is to kind of break down what the stems actually do. Mm-hmm. Can you guys sort of like break down how this whole thing works?
Yeah, I mean, at the highest level, and at the initial point of our being one stem cell and developing into these beautiful, bodies and living beings that we are, creatures, with a K. But yeah, you think about that, and through that process, our growth and healing management system fundamentally starts and ends with stem cells. And I say start and end because when you look at our growth phase, right? A newborn pops out. Our stem cells that get us to adulthood in full form, right, are being produced at a level that are sometimes mind-boggling, right? You think about like in a month and how one stem cell gets created by our beings. Day 30, it replicates, cultivates, harvests, duplicates into 1 billion. Now you fast forward past 1820, that number at the end of the month went from 1 to roughly 500,000.
So it's literally 50%.
50%. Now you fast forward into your 20s, past your 20s to your 30s, 40s, that 500,000 stem cells drops to 100.
Wow.
Luckily I'm 72. No, but hitting the 52 in a minute, right? I'm looking at my stem cell at the end of the month being like 5,000. So you start to look at this graph and you start to see exhaustion of our production of stem cells. And then you look at what we go through on a day-to-day basis, whether it's just the toxins in the air, the food, the water, I'm blown away today to see the science around our clothes have plastics that are getting into our system, parasites.
That literally is so great that you say that because I work with a company called Nads, and this brand it's an underwear company. It's a men's underwear company. That has identified this idea that our crotch is the most sweaty area in our bodies in addition to our armpits, right? So what we wear on that area is ultimately what our pores open up, we're sweating, our pores open up and they act as sponges, right? And so they absorb what is directly on that area, what it is exposed to. And in studies, there have been microplastics in penis tissue, in testicles, in semen.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Plastic in semen. And so these guys were like, holy smokes. And like the microplastics have been directly pointed towards infertility, lower testosterone, erectile dysfunction. So these guys were like, holy smokes, this is like a real situation.
Big time.
And they created NADS, which is an organic cotton pair of underwear. I'm wearing them right now.
Nice.
And they prevent that from happening, right? So like it's so interesting that you say that. Like we get hit from every single angle as human beings walking the planet today.
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling, and at times, what do you do? And so when you go back to the impact that has on our healing management system, right? We don't create enough as we age, and as we face more ailment or health issues, we don't have enough at the potency to fight the fight. And so that's where, and I'm so happy you mentioned, that company or any other holistic approach. This is what RejuvStem kind of the focus is, how can we be as thorough as possible? Stem cells play a major role, and that's where the infusions of either through the stem cells that are produced from day zero, tissue donated by adult moms after a healthy baby's delivery.
Unvaccinated.
Yep, unvaccinated through a C-section, so there's no contamination of the tissue. And so stem cells from that source, right, is an opportunity for all of us challenged or seeking to get ahead and be preventative from an anti-aging standpoint, from a longevity standpoint, from a vitality standpoint. That's where stem cells come into the mix.
The thought for, I think, probably some people of, oh, wait a second, this is coming from like placentas and umbilical cords from other people.
Yeah.
Like, how has that played a role in the business? Is that also why it's been challenging to get the FDA to approve this in the United States?
Yeah, I think when you look at the requirements for any type of approval, from FDA or scientifically, there's just amazing how many clinical studies are complete with amazing results around the world, right? I'm talking in the 5 to 10 to 20,000 different types of clinical studies done. So the challenge is when you have a pharmaceutical, let's say, right? You have a controlled production. And you know that batch of medication, you can run tests.
Made in a lab,
right? Now, one point of view is that, okay, this tissue can produce so much stem cell. And if you're extrapolating it out to do thousands of people in a clinical study, as they technically do, and spend millions and millions of dollars behind drugs, for example, right, to get the right sample size, that becomes a challenge when you're dealing with tissue donated with a short life, if you will, right? And I would say, that becomes the point of it's not really contention, but the question is, okay, is that enough of a sample size?
It's like stem cell. I think the conversation really, it's not brand new, right?
No.
People have been having conversations about stem cell for a long time, and traditionally, when you think about stem cell, if you pay attention to the world of wellness, we've heard about pulling stem cells from our own bodies, right? You pull stem cells out, I think you spin them, and then you put them back in, and though that is, I'm sure, has its place. the stem cell conversations that I've heard from people like Joe Rogan and Andrew Huberman and David, Peter Attia, and like the people talking about stem cell at this capacity are not that of stem cells that you draw from your own body. It's stem cells.
Correct.
It's the type of stem cell that you guys, this type of stem cell treatment and the source that you guys are offering at the clinic.
And Vivek said as well, like once you get that age, it starts deteriorating in your stem cells in your body. They're going to start fading away. So when you're taking it out of your own body and putting it back into your own body, taking your own stem cells, what can it really do to have that benefit? You're not getting that amount that you should have. Like that's why we come do an IV with us, 100 million stem cells like yourself. You're putting 100 million stem cells in your body. You're rejuvenating your whole body when it was falling off all that time. So it's like you said, it's just.
Well, I'll tell you another thing that's really interesting. So I do a lot of blood work. Blood work has been a big deal for me over the years.
Yeah, you were mentioning.
And I started doing blood work on a quarterly basis about, I'd say 3 years ago. And there's a number of reasons why I do blood work. And, I do my blood work with a company called Blokes, and they take my labs, they sit down with me, we walk through a consultation, they tell me exactly what my blood biomarkers are and what I need to do to potentially increase or optimize some, or hey, you're doing great, like you're good there. Yeah. But I've been doing this blood work, and for years, even before I started doing quarterly blood work, I've always shown up as ANA positive.
Okay.
Now, ANA positive is an autoimmune marker. It doesn't tell you exactly what that autoimmune situation is, but it essentially says there is autoimmune in your system, right? There is an autoimmune situation going on. Yeah. I just got my blood work done in we're in April. I got my blood work done in April. I got stem cell in February.
Right.
I did blood work in September, ANA positive. I did blood work in April, and I got my results back about a week and a half ago and went through my consultation. For the first time ever since I've been doing blood work, ANA negative.
Wow.
No.
I can't tell you it was the stem cell.
Yeah.
But I could tell you that for the first time in my life, and I didn't even think about this until you guys are sitting here, ANA came up negative for me in my blood work. And, I would argue to say that putting 100 million stem cells into my body have really helped my body and my immune system to fight back inflammation, which is ultimately what autoimmune creates, right? The body attacking itself. Yeah. And so I'm just like I'm a living kind of breathing example of somebody who has experienced this and has had great success with it. And so for those listening that are like obviously kind of intrigued at this point, right? Like is some people say stem cell is like the fountain of youth. It's like the ultimate healing source. Yeah. Like what would you say, like how would you describe stem cell as a healing agent to somebody that's listening? Like what area in sort of overall wellness do you think stem cell really does tackle?
I love, number one, your results. Yeah. When you look at that and think about the question you're asking, like what role? Our bodies are the role. Our bodies are magical when we have the resources. So to heal and to resolve those issues that we're not being able to resolve on our own, that's where the stem cells play the role. They're giving back our body the power, the boost, what it needs, the resource to get back in the game, right? And that's why we look at our therapies very holistically, right? It's stem cells. We encourage and involve exosomes. These are another growth factor that when we produce stem cells, our body shoots off these byproducts, growth factors, almost 3,000. Exosomes are included in our therapies, right? We look at our platelet-rich plasma. We look at the nutritional factors. So many things are involved in creating what I like to call a wellness storm. You know, a healing cascade, like a waterfall. Let's reignite that healing process, and that's where stem cells play a significant role and encouraging role. So it really allows our body's stem cells to come back to the party, if you will, right? And really turn it back on, and it's it's kind of by association, right? When we hang out with like-minded entrepreneurs, what are we starting to do and think and be? You know, when we hang out with, people, couch potatoing, right? We can easily get that influence. So these new born, basically post-delivery, healthy baby. It's not from the baby. But, those stem cells, they're fired up. They're ready to go. They're ready to party. And what does that do? It engages our body's healing process.
It's interesting. I just wrote, so every week I write an email to the Creatures of Habit community.
Okay.
And I've been doing that for about 166 weeks now. So I have not missed a week.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
basically it's going to end up being my book. I've said once I hit 300 weeks, I'm going to figure out a way to make all of those emails my book.
Nice.
And I've been very diligent about it. And a couple of weeks ago, I wrote an email to the community about self-investment and how, for whatever reason, when it comes time to spending money on ourselves, whether it's through traditional therapy, whether it's through a retreat, whether it's through even a massage, like we always recoil for the financial implication, right? It's like, ooh, I can't really spend. But like when it comes to thinking about working around the clock for people to like buy the freaking car that they dream about,
Yep.
it's like, oh yeah, as soon as I get that money, boom, I'm spending it right on that thing.
Yeah.
And when you see something that you want in a store,
You work to get it.
you're just like, all right, I'm gonna go get that.
Yeah.
When it comes to investing in self, for some reason, we have this hesitation, right? This there's this conversation that sparks that's like, I don't know. I'm not sure about that. And it's because typically those kinds of investments don't produce this instant gratification of this feeling, this dopamine rush that hits, that potentially releases some serotonin. And for that moment, you're like, yes. And then it just dies off, right?
Yeah.
The self-investment stuff tends to be that sort of delayed gratification.
Yeah.
And it tends to be, it tends to cost more money too, self-investment, right? And so what the commitment that I've made this year to myself is, hey man, if there's an opportunity to invest in yourself, just go for it.
Yeah.
Just go for it. Because there's not going to be, you don't have, we're not here forever.
Yeah.
You're
right? We're just not here forever.
Yeah.
And if there's an opportunity to get even an extra day, an extra week, an extra month, God, man, an extra year,
Oh my gosh.
how incredible is
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah.
I love that you're saying this because that's what my wife said to me when I went for my treatment, my first treatment, because I've done so many things for other people. I bought houses for people. I bought cars for other people. I've helped so many other people in my life. And she said to me when I was contemplating on going after my tricep surgery to my back and everything, she said, do something for yourself for once. Invest in yourself, basically. She's like, pay the money for yourself and do it. What do you have to lose? Do this and you're going to feel, and literally it changed my life. It put me on such a course that has made me feel, the relief that I have in my body, I want to tell everybody about it. I want to help everybody about it. The self-investment, yes, it could, like you said, it could be costly. But that's the thing. Like you said, you're going to buy a car. You're going to buy other things. For what? A watch, $15,000, $30,000 watch. Put that into your own body and make yourself feel better. Take the inflammation down. Take everything out and put your body in such a relief. You're going to change other people's lives and you're going to change your life for the better. And take that course of action like I did. It's going to be overwhelming how you feel. It's going to just like, you're going to just have such a relief, like yourself, like myself, like V. So many people have come and done that. Like, wow, thank you. That's what I want.
I think the real sort of crux of it, and the kind of the message that I'm out here screaming from the hilltops with my brand, but just with me personally, is we all want to, and we want is the big thing. We all want to show up as our best self, right? Like, there's very few people that you can sit in a room and say, hey, like, would you want to show up as your best self today? Yeah. Very few people would be like, nah, not interested. Yeah. I'd much rather be a bum. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, very few people. So we all can agree that 99% of the population wants to show up as their best self, right? What I've learned along my journey is that the only way to show up as your best self is to be well. Yeah. It's to be well. If you feel good, chances are you are going to perform well. And when you perform well, you help and impact other people. Right? Like, that is the ultimate that is the ultimate outcome of great performance, right?
Totally.
100%.
And like, I believe at my core that there's so many different things that we can do on a regular basis to show up well. But there are some extraordinary opportunities that we have today to say, you know what, like, I'm going to take the risk, I'm going to take the leap, because I know that for me struggling with inflammation or me struggling with brain fog, like, if I have a dream of building that amazing house for my family, like, my chances of getting there are just diminished by showing up with brain fog, with inflammation, with not feeling well. Because what that does is it from my experience, it actually turns me into a selfish person when I'm not feeling well. When I'm not feeling well, I tend to spend a lot more time thinking about myself. And tend to spend a lot more time thinking about myself not in a positive way. Right? It's not like I'm like, thinking about myself like, I'm killing it. Right. It's thinking to myself like, what am I going to do? This is so painful. This sucks. And every second I spend thinking it's that negative. Way,
you're not.
It just throws a cloud on any progress.
It's just it's negative then. You're just thinking negative, and you're putting that negative energy out there then when you want to bring that positive energy in. And you're right, 100%.
And how many of us have the pain point because of the inflammation or because of the fog that we start to become accustomed to it, right? And we start to say that, this is just, I'm getting old. Or I'm
this is part of life.
This is part of life. And we let go of the power that we still have and sometimes people just don't know, what else could I do to get rid of this? Maybe this is just the way life is going to be. This is it.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm 44. I'm going to be 45 this year.
You look great.
Thanks. I feel and it's not without pain and suffering at times, of course, but like, I do believe that I have made the commitment to self-invest. And I'm so grateful that there's guys like you out there that have literally, you're a chemical engineer. You're a real estate developer. Like, you've been in real estate for the last 20 years. Like, you guys have legitimately like uprooted a portion of your life to create an opportunity for people because of your experience, because of your experience with Chirag, because of your personal experience, for people to come and heal. And that is powerful as right? It just is. It's just like, thank you. And I think, look, it's not going to be for everybody because it's not cheap, right? It's not like, insurance doesn't cover this. But for the people that have the means to do it, like, all I could say is, if you're on the fence, from my experience, and that's why I wanted to have you guys on here, take the fucking leap. Just take the leap. Give it a shot.
Just give it a shot.
Just give it a shot, because there's a reason why some of the most extraordinary people in today's media and influence talk about what you guys are doing. right? Like most people at that level would not put their necks out there and put their name on something that did not have deep impact.
Yeah.
You know? And I just think it's important to be able to share this like magical treatment and therapy.
Yeah.
Because like I can't wait to get back down to Mexico. Talk to me about this. You had mentioned about this.
The Dezawa mu cells. So it's multi-lineage differentiating stress-enduring cells. So we can start speaking about this because this is revolutionary. We're one of the only clinics in the world to have access to the Dezawa mu cells. It helps with CTE. Helps with multiple sclerosis, helps with Parkinson's disease, neurological disease. It's
autoimmune.
It's incredible.
So is this the next level of, or like the next phase of stem
this
cell?
Is like more potent. It's going to take stem cells to another level.
So where do you harvest these from?
So they come from mesenchymal stem cells, right? And so Dr. Dezawa came across this opportunity or this potency inside the mesenchymal stem cells, where she was doing some scientific research and they used the wrong reagent or component.
So it was like a mistake.
It was a mistake, and it's a miracle in the sense that what it does is it has the potency to really hone in on target sites. Now, what's a target site? Any area of our body that's screaming, I'm not working as well, or I'm failing.
Or even if you don't know sometimes too, because something in your body, like, oh, my shoulder hurts, but it's not your shoulder. Really, it could be a scapula that's going up to your shoulder. You don't know.
Yeah.
So with this is just an IV. The Dezawa mu cells is just an IV. That's it. And it literally knows where to go in your body.
Wow. I mean, before we turned on the camera, I was telling John that I've had what I thought was a shoulder injury for a long time, and it happened in CrossFit. I was doing an overhead squat. I felt something go.
Yep.
I typically do, just train through the pain. That's kind of just unfortunately what I do.
Yeah.
And I didn't get an MRI on it, but I knew that it was something, and I knew that I was, I had a pretty significant injury in my shoulder. About, I don't know, it's got to be like maybe 6 weeks ago, I was in the gym and I was doing bicep curls, and I saw this like weird lump on my bicep, and I was like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
And then there's this dip from my bicep to my shoulder. So I was like, all right, I got to get this looked at. Like, it's a lump. Like, that's a weird
Something's
thing.
up,
I don't want to see a lump. Like, lumps never make me happy.
There's nothing good about a lump.
Nothing good about a lump. So I went to the bone and joint guy in my area, and he was like, yep, you've got a bicep tendon tear. That's what it is. And he was like, probably you had a partial tear for a long time, and it finally just snipped.
Yeah.
And so when I was telling you that, you were like, oh, yeah, we got a guy that came in that had a bicep tendon tear and injected in there, and it actually reattached.
Exactly.
That's insane, because this doctor that I saw was like, the only thing you can do is get surgery, and it's not necessary. So if this will not like diminish strength in your arm, but you're gonna have that lump on your bicep forever, unless you want to attach it back to your to the tendon there, or to the muscle and to the bone, or whatever it is. And so I kind of just like chalked it up. It's like, oh, that's what it's gonna be. It kind of makes my bicep look a little bit bigger. I'm not mad at it. But now I'm like the fact that you said that the stem cell injection actually reattached. So can you also talk to me about like your neck and your back and like how that's progress has gone?
It's incredible. That was that was the biggest reason I wanted to become a partner in the company, because I couldn't, like, I had herniated disc. Like, I was so bad. I couldn't. I wanted to get out of bed. It was so bad. And we went to the hospital in Cancun, and I was, of course, nervous. Like, I'm getting my spine injected. But the doctors, Dr. Ortega and the nursing staff, and Dr. Zermenio, they were so accommodating. They made me feel so comfortable going in. And they injected throughout my whole spine, throughout my whole back, my neck. And it was just, I couldn't believe it. Within 24 hours, like I said before, I felt amazing. It was just the progress. It was funny because a month later, because you have to wait a few weeks to do the massage, you have to wait a few weeks to work out. So after a month, I had my chiropractor come over, and I was like, my back hurts a little bit. And he started laughing. He goes, you know why? Because you have movement. Mm-hmm. He's like, you moved your back. You're moving too much now. He's like, you're moving so quick.
Wow. Because
I had so much move. I felt free finally. Yeah. I started running again. I started playing with my kids. I couldn't get on the floor to play with my son and my daughter. I was in the yard playing football with him, running with him. It was just a breath of fresh air to actually feel good in my own skin. And I would walk around normal, run normal. And literally over the time and the progress has just been, I can't even speak because it's captivating to me that the progress and the relief that I have from it is just incredible. With one time. That was all I needed, was one time in my back and my neck. Those injections, and I feel amazing. I don't need it anymore. That's the thing also, like we've kind of said with America, it's a cure. And they don't want that in America. You're just doing the injections in your back. Yes, it could be $30,000, but that's it. I feel amazing. So if in America just do surgery, and what is that surgery going to do? You're going to be in pain anyway. You're going to just be in pain now. Like what is it going to do for you in realistic? People come with knee replacements like, oh man, I wish I didn't do it. I wish I didn't do it with fusion. I wish I didn't do this. You're right. I wish you didn't either. And you came to us and did the stem cells. Yeah, you're going to, like you said, self-investment. Do that. Take the leap of faith. Do what I did. And you're going to see the benefits. And your whole life is going to change for the better. Like you said before, it's just the positive energy that you're going to put out for my wife, for my kids, how I was. Because I was miserable in my own skin. I didn't want to go anywhere. I would go work out. I would go work out. But when I come home, I wouldn't want to move. I would force myself to work out because I wanted to stay in shape and I wanted to feel better. But I wasn't feeling better. I was feeling worse in the process. So it's amazing what it can do. And we've had so many patients come, and they're such good friends of mine now. Like Brian Goldstein, he came for his back. He's coming back soon to do an IV Muse cell IV. He's the people that I'm in touch with now. It's like yourself. Like I love speaking with you daily. It's just a breath of fresh air, the positive energy that people put out coming to us. Everybody's on the same wavelength at that point. You just like, wow, I feel amazing. Thank you. And that's the calls I love and the text messages I get. Like, thank you. Like I've had people say, oh, you saved my life. And I feel the same way about him. With me going to see him, it saved my life. I was down a dark path because for years and years, I've dealt with pain. My stomach, I was born with malrotation of the intestines. I was 1 in a million. I literally went to the doctor. I became bulimic. So I went to the doctor, said, I was like, listen, I'm bulimic. I've been dealing with this pain for years. I can't keep anything down. So I had to have surgery because they said it was 1 in a million. I was going to die. They said, John, I don't know how you're alive. You lasted 35 years. I don't know how you're alive. Because you should have suffocated and died and you should have collapsed by now. And I would go through pain. I didn't understand why, because they wouldn't do an MRI or CAT scan for such a long time. I finally did the surgery. It didn't give me any relief. They said, like, you're not going to die now, but you're still going to have the pain because your intestines doesn't know what's going on. When I went for my IV in August last year, everything changed. I did the stem cell IV. My stomach is normal now. I can eat vegetables again. I can have broccoli. I can have onions. I can have peppers. I couldn't eat any of that. I would barely be able to eat meat because it would just be so hard for my system to digest. Within a month, I would say to Christina, I'm like, I'm hungry. I feel more hungry now because my stomach is actually digesting food normally. I was able to actually eat anything I wanted. It's incredible.
I mean, it just sounds like, anybody listening to this is probably like, it's just too good to be true. It sounds like one of those scams.
Yeah.
Right.
And
I mean, I look, everybody that is a follower of this podcast, trust me.
Yeah.
I have zero interest in anybody going out to invest in themselves in some way without me doing it first and sharing my story. I mean, that's what this podcast is really. We talk about habits a lot.
Yeah.
But because you guys are an expert in this specific, very, very, very powerful treatment, I wanted to take a break from talking about habits and really introduce this opportunity for people to understand that there is more available to us than we potentially know.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for guys like you that have literally just like uprooted your life to really create something like this for people to really, for this to exist. You know.
No.
Where can the audience learn more about RejuvStem?
So of course, RejuvStem, REJUV, STEM.
Right here.
.com.
Cool.
Right there.
We have an Instagram. We're going to have a YouTube up with all our clients. We're going to have a big YouTube coming. Instagram's flowing right now. We're going to have more stuff coming on there. We're building up our content. We're going to start pumping everything out. So you'll see a lot of patients. You're going to see a lot of ads, everything coming up. RejuvStem.com. You get more information. We're going to have a lot more stuff coming. So it's fascinating what we're doing.
And anybody that is concerned or scared or sticker price shock, don't. Take the first step. You don't even have to leap. Just take the first step and see what's even possible.
Mm-hmm.
You know, go through a couple of steps in understanding what is even available. And, there's folks that are not in debilitating situations where their health is...
Even aesthetics.
Yeah, aesthetics. Exactly where I was going to go.
Stem cell facial.
I mean, there are a lot of people spending a lot on stuff that is temporary, is not regenerative in terms of their beauty or in addition to their health, right? And so there are areas that we're supporting a lot of folks, both aesthetic and even on the sexual wellness side.
Yeah.
From whether it's the mention that you had in terms of erectile dysfunction, women and O shots, okay, for their orgasm. Right, this is an adult-friendly podcast.
yeah, for sure.
We've had patients that have received that have experienced, orgasms unlike they've ever had in their life.
Life changing,
right? So there are so many different areas that the regenerative planning can go. So don't cut yourself short. Take a first step is what I would say, and just see what's even possible with us. And we're going to be in your corner no matter what. If it's with us or without us, we want you well.
Yeah.
And that's where our passion lies. And so that only makes us better when we learn more about what people are dealing with and can we be a part of their wellness journey. If we can, great. Otherwise, we're cheerleading for you.
Yeah. There's a lot, like we said, there's so many with aesthetics, like stem cell facial. We've had patients come with psoriasis, rosacea, all these things. It was bad, and they did the facial. It was gone. It went the results have been amazing for the people. That
even hair,
not just pain, like face. Think about when someone walks outside and they have that in their face. They don't want to go outside. They don't want to be in public like that. They're like you said, beauty. Like that's damaging to their soul at that point. Like, I don't want to be outside like that. We've had patients come and they text us like, I can't believe this. Like my face is clear. I have clear skin again. So there's so many things that we can help, and
plus hair.
Yeah, hair, stem cell hair. We do that as well.
So what is that?
So depending on the stage of any kind of hair loss, there's ways to support growth.
Hair regrowth.
Right? And then there are stages where people have gone past any follicles left. So we work together with any kind of follicular, right, transplant stuff, but to amplify and speed up the healthy hair growth process. So,
I mean, it's like it literally does sound. It sounds like the mirror.
It's a mirror. Everything's a mirror. Stem cells, miracle.
You guys have really sort of honed in on something that has so many different optimization quality. Right? It's
there's so many benefits.
Yeah, and look. This isn't we're not trying to sell anybody anything.
No.
This is me
information
coming down to experience this with you guys, having an absolutely incredible experience, and feeling obligated, generally and genuinely obligated to share it with the community. Right?
That's awesome.
At this point in my career, I'm an entrepreneur and I've created a handful of businesses, but I've also built this personal brand that has been sort of like a a toolkit for people to rely on for products and experiences that I've gone through and committed to myself and have had great results with, for people to say, hey, like, I wonder, like I'm looking for a certain thing. Like, people have literally like looked at my Instagram handle and been like, oh, let's see what Chernow's up to, you know? And I've been able to really introduce things to people that they might not have known of, or just to endorse something that I use every single day.
Yeah.
And, you know, I have no problem, zero issue, saying very clearly, I want to look good and feel good. Like, people shy away from being like, oh yeah, I want to look good.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't you want to look good?
Yeah.
Right? Like, why would you be shy to say that? Like, people think, oh, that's frivolous, or oh, that's egotistical, or whatever it is. And for me, it's like, no. Like when you look good, you feel good. Right? Like, and feeling good is ultimately what generates happiness. Like, you want to optimize in all those ways, right? And so this is me bringing you guys on the show to share this incredible like option for people that have the ability or have the means to be able to take the investment. And I'm just, again, like, you know, I'm not the only one talking about stem cells in a miraculous way, right? Like, you go to any, you know, impactful podcaster and you type in stem cell in their show, and you're going to see just a list of people talking about it, right?
Thank you. I can't thank you enough for letting us be a part of the conversation in this community of yours that you care for, and I love what you've done. I was ready to, you know, obviously be grilled on my habits, and I was like, no, I don't want to talk about my habits.
Today I thought today would be a nice way to depart from that a little bit, you know, and really talk about what you guys are bringing to the world. You know?
Well, I'm like giddy excited. I'm trying to just keep it chill right now, but this summer and these Dezawa Muse cells are game changers.
I got to get in there. I got to.
So when we're excited already about what we're doing with our lab, when we talk about these Dezawa Muse cells, what's happening is they have such a endurance, and I want to say the intensity of their repair capabilities. We're just grateful that Dr. Dezawa, you know, has given our lab, one of few clinics and labs in the world, the licensing opportunity with them. So as we look forward, and summer of 25 is going to be super alive.
Summer of 25, I will be down and can't come back. Thank you guys so much.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it.
Family, community. I really hope that this podcast gave you potentially a little bit of hope that if you are struggling in some way with an injury, an autoimmune situation, just general sort of unwellness, that this is an option for you, and I know it was an option for me, and I took advantage of it. And, you know, this podcast is here to sort of help bring optimization and sort of light into your life. And these guys have done that for me and a plethora of other people. So I think it'd be worth just checking out RejuvStem. Just take a peek at it. Pop onto the website and do a little research and see if it's something that is for you. And if not, and this conversation inspired you, but it may not be for you, pass it to somebody that you think could potentially appreciate this or want to take advantage of something like this. Share the podcast. That is the only rent I ask you to pay to participate on this journey with me. A 5-star rating and a review would be nice. So if you're feeling super generous and you want to do that, maybe hit the subscribe button. I would love you forever for that. But other than that, family, I am so grateful for you. I appreciate you guys from the bottom of my heart. Until the next one, y'all. Peace.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, it was great. It was easy.
I appreciate you guys.
Oh, I love it.
It was
I
easy.
love it.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
Thank you.